Al Capone, a name that sends shivers down spines. His very mention evokes images of a bygone era, where the line between law and crime was often blurred. A whisper in the dark. A name that traveled through the underbelly of society, carried by those who feared and revered him in equal measure. A reminder that some sins leave an indelible stain. The crimes he orchestrated were not just acts of violence, but statements of power, leaving a mark that history cannot erase. He was a man who personified the brutal underbelly of the American dream. In the roaring 20s, while the nation danced to jazz and reveled in newfound freedoms, Capone built an empire on the vices of the era. His story, a chilling cocktail of ambition, greed and violence, still fascinates and terrifies us. The speakeasies, the gang wars, the corruption, all were part of his legacy. Capone's reign of terror, though decades gone, continues to cast a long shadow. The headlines of his exploits were not just news, they were the stuff of legend. From the blood-soaked streets of Chicago to the depths of popular culture, his presence lingers. Movies, books and television shows continue to draw inspiration from his life. Like a ghost story whispered around a campfire, his legend continues to haunt us. The tales of his deeds are passed down, a dark chapter in the annals of American history that refuses to fade away. Alphonse Gabriel Capone, born in the slums of Brooklyn, 1899. A product of his environment? Perhaps. But within him, a darkness festered. He rose from the gutters, a ruthless climber in the criminal underworld. His ambition? Power. His weapon? Fear. Capone found his calling in Chicago, a city teeming with vice during the Prohibition era. The illegal liquor trade, a river of gold. And Capone, a ruthless current carving his path to the top. He built his empire on violence, intimidation, and cold-blooded murder. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, 1929, a date etched in blood and infamy. 7 men, rivals of the Capone gang, lined up against a garage wall, gunned down in cold blood, a chilling display of brutality that sent shockwaves through America. This was Capone's reign of terror, a time when the rattle of Tommy guns echoed through the streets, when fear was a weapon wielded with chilling precision. He ruled Chicago with an iron fist, his name whispered in fear, his presence a palpable threat. They say that the sins of the past cast long shadows, and in the case of Al Capone, those shadows are particularly dark and menacing. His name alone conjures images of ruthless gang wars, illegal enterprises, and a reign of terror that gripped an entire city. But what if his story didn't end with his death? What if his spirit, restless and tormented, still lingers in the places where he once ruled with an iron fist? Capone's past was a tapestry of violence and cruelty. His empire was built on fear, and his legacy is stained with the blood of countless victims. From the infamous St. Valentine's Day Massacre to the countless other crimes that went unreported, Capone's actions left an indelible mark on history. Is it any wonder, then, that his ghost is said to haunt the places where his dark deeds unfolded? The very buildings that once echoed with the sounds of his criminal activities are now said to be the sites of eerie occurrences and unexplained phenomena. The whispers started soon after his death. Stories of strange happenings began to circulate, with many claiming to have seen or heard things that defy logical explanation. Unexplained noises in his former headquarters, lights flickering without reason, papers mysteriously scattered, and the unmistakable sound of footsteps echoing in empty rooms. Shadowy figures glimpsed in the night, dark silhouettes that vanish as quickly as they appear, leaving behind a chilling sense of unease. The chilling laughter of a man who enjoyed inflicting pain, echoes of a sinister past that refused to be silenced, as if Capone himself is mocking those who dare to tread where he once walked. Some dismiss these as mere stories, the product of overactive imaginations. Skeptics argue that the tales are nothing more than urban legends, fueled by the notoriety of Capone's name. But others believe that Capone's malevolent spirit still walks among us, unable to find peace. They say that his soul is trapped, forever bound to the scenes of his crimes, haunted by the very terror he once inflicted on others. Decades after his death, Al Capone remains a cultural icon. His name is synonymous with the dark underbelly of American history, a time when crime and corruption were rampant. Capone's legacy is not just one of fear, but also of fascination. People are drawn to his story, captivated by the sheer audacity of his criminal empire. His story, a cautionary tale, It serves as a grim reminder of what happens when power is unchecked and morality is cast aside. The headlines of the time screamed of his exploits, painting a picture of a man who was both feared and revered. His image, a symbol of the dark allure of power. Dressed in his signature pinstripe suits and fedoras, Capone exuded an air of invincibility. His serious demeanor in photographs only added to his mystique, making him a larger-than-life figure. From movies to books to television shows, his presence continues to fascinate and horrify. Hollywood has immortalized him, turning his life into a series of dramatic narratives that both entertain and educate. Each portrayal adds another layer to the complex character that is Al Capone. The enduring fascination with Capone speaks to our primal fear of the darkness that lurks within humanity. The worried faces of the 1920s, the dark alleyways where deals were made and lives were lost, all contribute to the chilling atmosphere that surrounds his legacy. He is a reminder that monsters are not always mythical creatures. Sometimes they walk among us, disguised in pinstripe suits and fedoras. These men, who once roamed the streets, were as real as any threat could be. Their influence felt in every corner of society, their smiles as cold and sharp as the blades they wield. The smirks and the glint of steel in their eyes serve as a stark reminder of the ruthlessness that defined an era. Al Capone's legacy is a chilling testament to the fact that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are those who hide in plain sight. Al Capone died in 1947, ravaged by syphilis. But his legacy of fear, his imprint on our collective psyche, remains. He is a chilling reminder that power corrupts, that ambition can be a double-edged sword, and that some sins leave an indelible stain. Even in death, Capone continues to hold us captive. His story, a dark fairy tale for adults, serves as a warning, a reminder of the monsters that lurk in the shadows, a testament to the enduring power of fear. In the end, Al Capone's story is a stark reminder of the human capacity for both good and evil. He was a man who embodied the darkness that can fester in the human heart and soul, but perhaps that is why his story continues to resonate deeply with us. He is a reflection of our own deepest fears, a reminder of the fragility of civilization and the ever-present potential for chaos. And that is a horror we can never truly escape from.